I'm going to switch to a little bit lighter version of that. A little bit more. And I'm going to move some white in there.
They built a lake.
You know what I mean? So that.
Like a pond and they circle
Yeah,
the
but
water.
when you look at it, it reads right.
They use it for a number of.
We're not counting grades. It's not.
Alright, that's a little more green than I like. Let's see if we can tone it down.
Like an old fashioned studio, so you worked in that.
That's a little more neutral there.
I used to go there at lunch. Get a sandwich.
Let them.
And sit on absent-minded.
There we go. That's a little less green. And this is more. This gray is a little bit more like the primer color, but it is lighter than what I was using. But not light enough. A little more contrast.
My first office was on the second floor of the Asian Paint Building. And you could look at
Okay, there we go.
Town Square. They built a town square for a movie called $1 Million Duck, which they then used for over and over and over.
Now I'm running the brush over the top of the highlights,
It's like working in a
like just
small
the
town.
tip of it in a way, kind of feathering. Because I don't want to obliterate the darks that are in the cracks right at this moment.
The company changed in 1984.
And I'm brushing downward as if the light was coming from the top, not brushing upward.
So they tore a lot of that down.
Okay, these are some kind of
First they
folds.
had temporary
Look like another emblem there for a second.
prefab. They look like trailers almost.
Thin that down a little bit.
They just kept hiring more and more
Okay,
producers.
light's coming in on this side.
And that's what they did. They kept the
Brushing downwards.
I'm gonna try to open this up.
But they eventually, now they slowed down, then they built a building, they call it the Frank Wells Building. And they put TV animation there for the first time, that was in the 80s. So that took out the small town sets. In the beginning, they still had it. Down and out Beverly Hills.
You know what? I think this
Shot
is
like
like
a swimming pool
I
behind
should get
them.
it kind of.
That's what $1 million duck.
Okay. Because most of it's gonna get covered.
I don't know how they did this small town square. Maybe it was falling out.
I have four here. 1, 2, 3.
It's too bad they didn't say
No, I don't think they had any of it.
One brush does it all, huh?
For this stage of the game,
They just started doing so much.
What size brush is that, a 1 or?
this is probably a 2.
Okay.
Keep them out of the animation building.
No, just do the.
They rented buildings in Glendale.
Interesting.
And all of it, so the animation building was the corporate headquarters. Until they built that big building with the doors on the front.
Yeah. You can see that.
They call that the Team Disney building. And that's the corporate headquarters. And so the animation still isn't located. They built a new building for animation across Riverside Drive. And it's
Yeah, I used to do freelance, did 3D modeling for years, mostly for a foreign company.
And then it won't be
Rhythm
that.
and blues, washed out, leather, they're all my friends did that full time.
Here.
I was working for the city and do this full time. I got security here, I've already invested.
Yeah.
Pensions, so.
Oops, too much water.
Freelance stuff. And then that dried up. They start off, they go here, you can do this, I go, I'm not gonna do it for that much money, it's not worth my time. And then all my friends just did that for some reason. Instead of just the good and stuff. You know, they're all out It's all in Vietnam and India.
That's small, you can't really see
All the
it.
studios kind of pitched them
Like I said,
over.
you're trying to get some interest, something, some tone. But still, it's still readable.
There, you can see a little more contrast now.
Even though it is.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are,
Yeah, I tried a light, no lamp, I could bring it in, I guess.
you guys are good. I'm up to three. I've got freaking three lamps.
Oh, wow. I could bring my lamp.
Yeah, these two, that's 57.
I want that.
So this is really, this is big.
Benny, didn't you say that his work usually comes pretty clean?
Yeah, this is a nice clean dummy round. There was hardly any sanding or anything. There's a couple of spots I see that I missed. I thought maybe I didn't put the primer on thick enough for it to take care of it. But they were really minor, and I'm not worried about them. I think eventually the paint will.
Probably fill them in if they're
Eventually.
minimal, yes.
So yes, his work is extremely clean. I really like Rich's sculptures. I hope he does more.
I saw this online. I went into Google and I typed in tin figures or miniatures or something, and a lot of this stuff came up.
Stephen has the Flat Tin Figures website, and he's been posting a lot of stuff. So Rich's stuff is on Stephen's website, which is flattinfigures.com, I think.
Rich has a real nice, simple, clean-looking website too.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it in a long time. He didn't, when I first looked at it, it didn't really have a lot on it. Maybe he's put more on it. But at any rate, you can kind of see that now, there's a little directional lighting going on, and how quickly we did that.
No, but right now when you do it like that, it's gonna read it right now because the white's.
I think his work is getting more and more popular too.
Well, I hope so. I hope it encourages him to do more.
I'm serious, like very first time I saw you.
He was asking me what I would want to paint, and I suggested, images from the propaganda posters. Like for example, in America, the woman with the "We Can Do It" kind of a thing. Well, Great Britain had just as many of those types of posters, and so I would love to see. I found a few online and send them some examples. With the British females in uniform, different ones. There's a couple of American ones that are real neat that have it has a whack and women from the different services.
He was working on one piece that just was so beautiful, and then he ran into copyright issues.
Oh, really?
And I don't know that the one he was working on would have created trouble, but in order to stay away from any kind of copyright issue, he just stopped the project.
Posters have that kind of thing on them.
Yeah, I don't
It's very
know.
possible.
I think I think most of them should be public domain at this
At
point.
this,
Yeah.
you're talking World War I stuff?
Yeah.
Well, it was
Yeah,
like
100 years old.
Annie Oakley or something like that. He
I
was
would-
working on one, but he went to the Annie Oakley Society or something like that, and someone told him that he might have some trouble with that. So, but he is so talented.
Well, if you're going to commercially produce them, there are issues from time to time. But if you're doing it just for your own pleasure and a piece of artwork, it shouldn't be a problem. But on the other hand, I did talk to somebody recently about this because I have my friend that sculpts from the famous paintings. Like the girl with the pearl earring and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
that's
It's like,
that one,
yeah. So I was told that as long as it's your artistic interpretation, that it shouldn't be a problem. Because my specific example was the Chicago Institute of Art owns the rights to and has the painting American Gothic, which is a famous American painting, and I was asking, well, if we chose that for to have a piece sculpted for the World Expo, and it was American Gothic, would there be problems? Do we need to get permissions from the museums? And supposedly it's an artistic interpretation, and there shouldn't be a problem with it. So I think we will test that and see what happens.
We'll set you up some. And if it doesn't work, we will email. I've got it set up like.
I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of time to, continue working on this in the next couple months, but what I can do is I'll get the grayscale done and I'll bring it back for the next painting day, and then I'll do the oils over it so you can see how that looks.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
I want to try to have this done to take to Chicago, which is in October, so I can use it for painting demonstration until then.
That's showing Chicago. Is that the city proper, or is that on the outskirts of
It's
Chicago?
in the outskirts, Oak Brook, I think, north of town, north of the city.
Uh-huh.
All right, does it look different now?
Oh, yeah.
Starting to look like a three-dimensional object, hopefully.
But you know what I mean? It's sort of, yeah.
Certainly does.
But he's got issues. He's got issues. Well, yeah, his wife, Kathy's brother.
He's changed her hands a little bit when you look at the figure. I mean the photo. There's a slight hand change.
Yeah, but I like his way better. The photo almost makes it look deformed.
Yeah, no, that's true. I understand. I was just saying, I'm making a comment.
Yeah, that's the beauty of doing a sculpture from a photo like that, is that if the photo's got issues, you can, and a painting too, you can, like doing a portrait of somebody, if you're working from a photo, you can look and, oh, well, she has a wart on her nose, maybe we'll take that off,
No, I understand.
Yeah, so he definitely improved the image, I think, personally.
Darkening the under rim of that hat just kind of makes that face pop too, doesn't it? Kind of frames it.
Yeah, well, that's my teaching question of the day, is how do we make a light pop out? We put a dark next to it. How do we make a dark pop out? We put a light next to it.
Last night, it was very much upset.
I'd like to, I have difficult